Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 59. Now I always open these by saying, didn't get very much done this week, and then end them by saying, oh, I got more done than I thought. However, I am very confident that I really didn't get very much done this week because it's nearly Christmas and our family tradition is to watch The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings extended editions in the evenings in the run up to Christmas, and that means that my major hobby time, which is after Rosie goes to bed and before I do, is not there, which I'm not arguing or complaining about in the slightest, because it is one of my favourite times of the year. Yesterday evening we got to the end of the Battle of the Five Armies, so we've done the Hobbit extended editions, and this evening we will start on Fellowship, which I think most people think is the best of all the six, and we are loving it, and so is Rosie, so you can't argue with that. Anyway, I have done some hobbying. I will now show you what I've done. There's been little bits of progress. I'm going to have to crack on because I've got some projects which I need to finish for external deadlines, basically challenges and what have you, and I've just not touched them. So yeah, I do need to keep pushing on. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to take a little bit of a rest. If you're not yet subscribed, don't forget to ding that bell as well when you do so. Thank you so much to all my subscribers, and please do enjoy this video. If you managed to catch the first of my live streams yesterday, which was for Harry for charity, you'll have seen what I did was, as part of the stream, I did a very quick build of how to make hedges and fences even on the live stream, and he built along, and it was great fun. I came out of that with quite a few half-built fences, and so what I've decided to do is to finish them off and do them as winter terrain. So this will be my final of the 6 pieces of scatter terrain. It'll be 5 fences that are done with snow on them. So a little bit today. I've not got very much time to hobby now around Christmas. It's generally when my hobby time reaches its lowest availability of time, which is all good. I managed to get time to add on the cross pieces. Some of them are basically, there's one that's got both on already, and the rest have all only got the lower one on. So probably during the day tomorrow, when I get a few minutes, I will also get stuck in, finish the tops, and then I'll start to flock. So that's what I'm doing for the final piece of the Winter Eyes for Christmas. If you missed the second live stream, then it's on my channel, and it was great fun, and I had so much of a laugh, and thank you everyone that watched, and go and check it out. We had a great time building terrain, talking about the hobby, and just had a really good chat. I'm really starting to think that the miniatures that I've ordered for the 4 stages of life diorama is just not going to arrive in time, so I'm coming up with a backup plan which fits in with other projects I'm working on anyway, so that I'm doing things I want to get done, and it will also just be really cool and lovely. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building the 2 ships that come in Blackbeard's Revenge, which is the Revenge and the Queen Anne's Revenge. So what you see here on the clamps is the Revenge, which is a sloop which I've primed. I had a few minutes today, very little time, so I primed that up, and I will get that painted, then I'll prime up and paint the Queen Anne's Revenge. I'll do it in basically the same colours that I've done for my other oak and iron things, except that I'm going to do a little bit more detail on these because they're more special ships. They're not just generic ships, they actually mean something. So I'm going to do a bit of research on coloration and try to match that. The actual diorama, which I'm going to be doing for the 20x20, is going to go on this Sarissa terrain tile system, because I figure that maybe I might do more of these. So this is a 20x20 terrain tile system, and I'm going to do a seascape with the 2 ships in the same way as I've done for my other display boards for the other oak and iron ships. But what I'll have is I will have a sandy bay on one half, probably like this, and then a tiny pick and shovel. It's 1/600. It's going to be very tiny. You might need a magnifying glass, and a mound where they've buried their treasure. So it's going to be like a pirate themed thing. The ships will be able to be put on and taken off because I'll be gaming with them, and that's what I'm going to do for my backup plan in case my miniatures don't arrive for the other one. And I want to do this anyway. I want a display piece for these ships, so this knocks off 2 birds with 1 stone. These are now all dried nicely, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wood stain, and this is African teak colour, very dark, the darkest one I've got. And I'm just going to paint all of the wood with the wood stain. Just like that. And that will give it a nice colour, and I can come along if I want to and age it and what have you. But it just gives it a nice strong dark colour, which I think will contrast nicely with the snow effect. So I'm going to get this done slowly through the day. I don't have very much time. I'm just quickly grabbing this in a coffee break or tea break to get this started. And yeah, so I'll get all these done through the day, and I'll bring you along for the next step when I get to it, which will probably now be tonight or tomorrow, I'm not sure. This is probably all the hobbying I'll get done today. The hardest part of this is actually having a smaller amount on your brush. So what you can see is it builds up in places, and I'll go back and remove it and keep spreading. So rather than going back to the pot, I'm looking at where it's gathered, where it's been dragged off by being caught on a lip or something, and then I spread that around a bit more. So there we are. It's a simple technique, but it does take a little bit of time. So I'll get that done and I'll bring you back later. Had a little bit of time today, so I managed to get some paint down on both the Revenge, which is at the back, and the Queen Anne's Revenge, which is at the front. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I think that the Queen Anne's Revenge certainly is going to need to have some red on it. So I've just grabbed some red paints. So I've got transparent red and black red, and I've also got a red wash, Caribou Crimson. And I think that the Revenge is going to be more of a darker one. So I've got a black grey and a natural steel, which I'll need to do the gun ports. And I'm going to just spend a little bit of time now. It's late in the evening, I've not got much time, but I really want to push on with this and get them finished. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I'm thinking that I'm going to paint some highlights on this in the red. And I'm also potentially going to do a red wash over the sails. Now it might not work, and if it doesn't work I can always paint over it. But that's my plan. And then I'm going to do the same sort of thing for the Revenge. I'm going to do the black on the boat and a black wash over the sails. So we'll see how well this works out, and I'll show you where I get to by the end of the night. So I'm not sure yet, I'm not convinced. I'm pretty happy with how the boat's looking, with the little red details on the boats. Sails less so, but that kind of goes with the struggles I've been having generally, and also goes for the same for the Revenge. So if I just bring that over and move the camera slightly, it's not the greatest shot, apologies, but the ship is looking really good. I'm very pleased with how that is in terms of the darkness on it, and then I've done the metal for the guns, but the sails are a little bit dodgier, I think. So I'm not quite as happy with them, but we shall see. I'm going to let it dry overnight and come back to it in the morning. We'll see how I feel like when I wake up. So this is how far I got this build while I was doing the live stream with Travis last Sunday, which was incredibly fun, and we will do another one, I'm sure. So you can see that we've got the I've put some of my tufts on, and also this was made with untwisted twine, which looks quite nice actually. I'm quite pleased with it. However, what I have realised I did was I didn't actually paint the the soil then. So what I've got to do now is just come along with this kind of reddy brown, which is what I want it to be, and just fill in. Now because it's winter, I'm lucky. White will just look like frost, but I don't want it to be completely white. That would be rubbish. So let's just come along here with this brush and very carefully paint around the edges to get some soil colour. So I'll do that, and then when it's done I'll bring you along and show you the next step, which will probably be working again on the ice. I'm not going to make the same mistake with these and put the tufts on too soon. So now these are ready for painting. I'm going to use the same kind of reddy brown. I quite like it. Doesn't paint on very nicely, unfortunately, so I'll probably have to do a couple of coats to get it to be complete. But then these will be ready for tufts, and then snow. Now what I'm hoping for is that my shop bought snow effect might arrive today or in the next couple of days, and then I can finish these off using that and give it a try, so I can compare and contrast my homemade attempt with these. But we'll see, that's all dependent on post. which is proving to be very unreliable all over the world at the moment. So yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, onwards. This week I have managed to get a bit of painting done. I managed to finish off these 7 female pirates, which is pretty cool, and the middle one, Blowing the Kiss, was entered into the Paint All the Miniatures challenge, which was a make up your own, so I did Beautiful but Deadly. I painted most of these, or finished most of these up while on a really fun hobby hangout with my mate Tim, which was great fun on Thursday night, and I had a really good time and managed to get these done, which I'm quite pleased about. I have filmed all of the process of painting the 1 miniature, which I entered for Paint All the Minis, but that will be a separate video which you will see. I haven't reviewed the footage, I've no idea how good or bad it is, but if it's good then you'll get to see it. So what I'll do now is I'll just quickly zoom in on each one and hopefully you can see just how all of the flaws are in my paint job. I'll try to do this as smoothly as I can. I'm quite happy with how they've come out. They're certainly good enough for tabletop. This is one that I put the most effort into, but probably is one that's come out the least well, so that just shows something, doesn't it? Particularly like this one, the Great Pose, very dynamic. Yeah, they're great miniatures. These are obviously the ones from Black Scorpion, which I've shown off before. So yeah, I've got a few more to do of this range still, so I think I've got 4 or 5 more down there to paint, which I'll do and I'll bring along and show how they look. But for now, there we are, we've got some female pirates, very happy with that, and they're ready for the tabletop. I have done some basing, which I will just, I'll just show, so I'll zoom in and then lift the middle one forwards. This will also be a separate video. So you can see that she is on a base there, which has like a planking, very simple, took me a couple of minutes at the most in all told from beginning to end. So I'll do a video showing how I went about doing that, and that'll also be a separate video. So yeah, I did get some painting done this week. This week, during brief periods of ability during working hours or in the evenings when I've had the time, I've finished off these 2. So this is the Revenge, which is the one with the black sails, that's the sloop, and the Queen Anne's Revenge, which is the one with the red sails. These are obviously for oak and iron, and I'm really pleased to have got these done. I did start them as, obviously this is going to be included in the video, as maybe a part of the encounter terrain to do a diorama with them, but I'm not going to do that now. However, that has given me the impetus to finish them, which I'm pleased about. So there will be a display base done for them, but not immediately. I'll do it soon, not now, and I'm going to keep working on other things for the encounter terrain. So this clip will be included in that, but is just more of an aside than anything. But yeah, really pleased. They're lovely models to paint, and I'm pleased with doing the different sail colours. I think they've actually turned out really nicely, so that gives me some encouragement and some confidence for the other ones as I come to them. I have had some more deliveries, and that means that I think I'm going to stick with my original plan and throw the other ideas away. Even though they're really good ideas, I am going to throw them away. So let me show you what I've received. So what I've received is half of the school children. So we've got the schoolboys and master. We have some people watching and cheering on potentially. So there's like a person with binoculars and some adults stood around. And finally we have some kids playing, and I'm only interested in the 1 miniature from that. So these are basically nearly everything I need to complete the sports day section. The burial, I could probably get away with what I own, and so could I get away with for the war. So it's just the ceremony that I'm waiting for, really. Fingers crossed that's on its way. If the ceremony arrives, then it will have the other things I need for war and burial as it happens. So I'm going to focus on sports day. What I'm about to do now, let's put these out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mock up roughly where things are going to go. And let me just talk you through the idea. The idea is that we're going to have someone, I'm probably going to have a running track going across. Bearing in mind, if you remember, I want to have the poppy emblem, so I need to work that into it as well. And I'm going to have a running track going across. I'm going to have this little person here who is celebrating, and they're going to be going through the rope. And maybe with this guy here, I might do just coming in behind So I'll have two people, winning the race, very close, and we'll have obviously the parents. So you can see these are the parents watching, and then we'll have the schoolmaster and the other kids watching as well. So it will very much be a running track coming across the top, and these characters are going to populate it. Now the good thing is I don't have to paint these, because painting is not part of the challenge, but also I've kind of wasted a bit of time waiting for these things to arrive, so I've not got a lot of time left. So what I'm going to do is sit here for a bit, and I'll bring you along once I've done a little bit of planning, and I'm just going to work out where things are going to sit and start to do some actual modelling. So let's see how far we can get on sports day. And thus an idea is born. So a little bit of a Sharpie, a little bit of thinking, and we have worked out how we're doing it. So you can see the poppy motif that's going in the middle here. I've sketched it out. This here is sports day, and so this is going to be my running track, which is going to be done in like a dark red for a poppy. So we will have the winning line here, which will have the celebrating person having come over the celebrating line there, and then trailing behind we will have this little guy here just coming around the corner. So he's not going to be far behind, but he's not going to have won. Then we'll have bleachers at the back. This will be just stepped bleachers, and on that will be stood the school teacher and the kids and also the parents. And I've got some sitting down kid here cheering, so I'll probably add him onto the bleachers as well. So over here we'll have the explosion, and so the explosion will be done as the part of the poppy. Over here is going to be the march, the celebration for passing out. So what I'll probably do is have this as being where the where they're stood, and have that done in like a red tarmac as well. And for the final one, I'm going to do this as being the car park. So that will be painted black, but it will still be in the same shape as being a poppy, and then we'll have the grave and what have you over here. So that is going to work out really well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get myself my foam, and I'm going to glue the bleachers on, and I'm going to get a little bit of modelling compound, and just do the texture and textures between where the running track is and up to the bleachers. So I'll get that done. I will bring you along, show you how I go about doing the bleachers, but then the modelling compound, well, you've seen it lots of times, so you've already seen it in this video. Onwards, I'm really pleased to be making some progress. To make the bleachers, I'm going to make use of this blue foam, which is actually an offcut from last month's entry for the encounter terrain. So what we're going to do is we're going to make use of this blue, and we're going to cut about a third of the way down so that we have a step at the beginning of this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to then put another bit on top, which will then, so there'll be a step here, and then a step up, and then the final step up. And that will probably be making use of some other rough cuts. Then maybe not that, because that may not be quite big enough. So I won't do all of this on camera because it'll be quite repetitive, but basically we're going to very lightly score down this. Like so, and then come in from the side and just take that step off. If we do it flat, it'll be all right. There we are. And then we can just take that little bit that's not quite accurately done. My knife is becoming a bit blunt, and blunt knives are what cause accidents, so I might need to replace it. There we are. So we've got our first bleacher, our first step, and what I'll now do is repeat this process and make some more steps going up. And what we're actually going to do is have half, then one, and then a half. So I will cut down along the edge there, and I can actually make use of this offcut as well, which is really good. So I just need to cut that in half. There we are, and then we can glue that together, and that will be some nice bleachers that can sit on top like so. I'm going to use PVA for this so that it doesn't have to worry about it expanding, and I will clamp it in place and it will dry nicely. There we are. And then while that's drying, I can do my stuff with the modelling compound, which, as I say, I'll just get done. But that will involve filling in this area here just smoothly and making the actual track below. So my thinking is that I will potentially carve this out, which I might do now on camera, just a very, very small amount. And you can carve white foam with a knife as long as your knife is sharp. And what I'll do is anywhere that's not carved, I'll put my modelling compound on. Now, another way of doing this would be to get a hot wire cutter, but as long as your knife is sharp, as you see, it is possible to carve out white foam. So let me get that done. There we are. So I will now do modelling compound over the top of the white area here, and then I'll probably bring you back because we're going to do that with red grout, I think. I will bring you back when I get to the next step. I decided to go over the whole thing with the modelling compound, including the track, just to give it a little bit more stability and security. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to paint the bleachers in black. Now they may not end up being black, but it's going to give, it's my terrain paint, which I've just spilt everywhere, dropped some on top of my phone and everything. But so it's going to give it a little bit more solidity and stability. So I'll just paint that over it, and I'm not going to put any sand on, and I might put some other stuff on it as well. But I'm just mopping up all the paint I just spilled. But for now, I'm just going to put some black paint over the top of that. It's still wet from the PVA because it's still the same day. I've not paused yet on this. I want to get this done as much as I can. So yeah, I will get this done, and then I think that'll probably be as far as I can go without it drying. So I'll probably have to leave it for a bit and come back to it later. But it feels really good to be making some progress, I can tell you. And what I'm going to do at the same time is paint the outside. So I might get a bigger brush for that, but I'll just paint this terrain paint all over the outside just to give it a little bit of a finish. So I'll probably go and get a bigger brush and get that done as well. And then it'll be time for me to finish on this and let it all to dry. Well, there you are. I told you it was a short week. In fact, most of that was done today, I think. Well, I'm not sure about most of it, but quite a large percentage of it was done today when I got a little bit of time to do some hobbying. But it's been a really good week, and I am in no way complaining. So now it only remains for me to say Happy Christmas, because this is the final vlog before Christmas. So I hope that you all have a wonderful time wherever you are and whatever it is you're doing. And I will see you again in the week between Christmas and New Year. Finally, I would like to thank everyone who joined my live stream last Saturday. It was Sunday even, sorry, not Saturday, last Sunday. It was such fun. I had a great time, and I will be doing those again. So I look forward to seeing you all on them. Maybe another one between Christmas and New Year even, so watch out for that. I'll make sure to publicise that everywhere if it does get organised. So, yep, thanks for watching, and please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.